Live from CNBC Global Headquarters, this is On the Money.
You know, sometimes our search for opportunity can lead us in the wrong direction. Holly, we're not going to let that happen to you. Okay,
Hi,
you're not going to work yourself into the ground, Holly. You know, I think we've actually come up with a plan that's going to get you on track so fast, it's going to give you whiplash.
Oh, I need that.
Okay.
Thank you.
But whiplash kind of hurts a little bit. It's going to take some sacrifices. I got to ask you, are you willing to make them?
Yeah.
You are?
I am.
Okay, then let's whip this into shape, all right, Holly? So let's look at where you stand right now. How much are you guys bringing home each month? Let's start there.
We're bringing home just over $10,000 a month with the rental property.
Okay. Now, what about debt? You mentioned the debt. It's over $70,000, right?
It is.
And and 8 credit cards?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what about your retirement savings?
I have a Roth that I'm feeding $100 a month off my business. My husband has a 401k that he's feeding 4% off his paycheck.
Okay.
And then we have about $75,000 in 401ks from prior employers between the two of us.
Okay, great. Can you roll those babies over? Roll them into the 401k your husband has now?
Sure, we could do that.
Okay, because you know what? Because then you could feed them. You could feed them and you put more money into them and make them work harder for you both. We'll get to that later. I got ahead of myself.
Okay.
But tell me about the rental property that you have. How's it doing?
The rental property?
Yeah.
Well, we bought it in 2006. We got an 80-20. The 80 is at 8% and the 20 is at 10%. And yeah, it's interest only. The plan was that we would keep the property until it appreciated in value and then we'd refinance, but unfortunately that's not going to work because our credit score has been ruined by the move.
Now, to explain to everybody out there what 80-20 mortgage is, this is something that's been created a while ago, but it got really popular over the past 10 years. This is 80% of the mortgage, which is what most people get when you put 20% down. Then there's another mortgage that gets piggybacked on that's the other 20%, what should be a down payment. So it's a no money down mortgage. Now, Holly, the rental income that you're getting from that place, is it covering your mortgage costs and other costs?
It does cover the mortgage, Carmen, but it doesn't cover anything beyond that.
Okay.
So there's an association fee of $160, and then we had to replace a lot of the internal components of the condo, and that all that's a big part of the credit card debt.
Okay, yeah, because it's that whole becoming a landlord, investing, and then you become a landlord, and it's really expensive. Now, Holly, our first priority here, right, is managing your debt. So let's talk about your credit. You know who I'm going to bring in, all right? We got John Alzheimer. John, what does Holly's credit situation look like? I mean, we have a lot of debt here.
Hi, John.
Hi, Holly.
How are you?
I'm great. I spent some time earlier today with this really, really nice lady. She's just a fantastic lady.
Thank you.
She's making me smile, which is nice.
Excellent.
So that's the good news.
Oh, no. See, Holly, he was buttering you up.
Yeah.
The bad news.
I looked at the report. I know what he's talking about.
Yeah, well, we found a lot of things that are problematic. Short sale. 47% maxed out on the credit cards.
Okay.
As she knows, an enormous amount of credit card debt. Credit score, 551.
Oof. Ouch. Holly, that hurts me. That must hurt you a lot.
It hurts me a lot, yes.
All right, so you know what? We're going to dig you out. Let's dig you out, okay?
Yep, let's dig me out.
Let's go through your money here. Now, you're already putting about $1,500 every month toward that credit card debt, right?
I am, yes.
Okay, so that's the first debt we're going to work with here. It's the most important debt for you to get rid of ASAP. Now, right now, $1,500 towards that credit card debt over $70,000. It's going to take you 12 years and $23,000 in interest to pay it off. But, if you put another $1,500 more, $3,000 total, you'll be out in 2 years.
Oh, that would be good.
And you'll save $11,000 in interest.
But Carmen, where do I find the $1,500?
Holly, that's where I'm going. Okay? So you can save that 10 years. That's the whiplash, right? We're saving you 10 years and $11,000. Here's what you need to do. Let's find that other $1,500, okay? Right now, what's your rental cost that you're paying in rent?
$25.29 per month.
Okay. Any way you can shave that down?
Well, we're renting in this area because the school district is very good. Our son is in his last year of high school.
Okay.
So we timed the end of the lease to the end of the school year, so we could relocate in June when my son graduates.
Okay, that is actually really good news. Well, listen, if you shave that down to $1,700, $1,800, there's a big chunk of that $1,500 right there. Now, I noticed we got big car payments there. About $1,000 a month total, right?
Yeah, one of the problems with the leased car is that Connecticut charges taxes in arrears, and Massachusetts charges in advance, so I'm paying a lot of car tax on my car.
Oh, and this is leased, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you may want to look into trading that leased car. Now, listen, you're always going to owe because you locked yourself into a contract, but you can head to a site like LeaseTrader.com and see if you can get out into a less expensive lease and one that's based in Massachusetts.
With my credit score, would that be worth it?
Yeah, absolutely, because what we're talking about here is not the credit score. Basically, someone else is going to buy your lease. That's how it works. So it has nothing to do with your credit score. What we're looking for is we're looking for that money. And if you can lower your car payments by even a couple $100 a month, there's another chunk of that $1,500.
Okay.
Okay, so let's say that you get your housing costs down to $17. Now, that's already $800. Your car costs down $200. That's $1,000 right there. Now, tell me about the dog walker, please.
We have a 7-month-old puppy, and he's extremely high energy.
Yeah.
And he's too much for me. I can't get any peace. He's just jumping all over me all day long. So I hired the dog walker to get him out of my way for 3 hours a day.
Oh, my goodness. He's like a toddler. But $400 a month. Oh, it's a lot of money. It's so expensive, that puppy. Listen, I'm not saying to give it. Listen, love my pets. But what about your son? Can he can he play with him?
He does take the dog out in the afternoon, but the dog walker comes to me during the day. He picks the dog up at 10:30 and brings him back at 1:30.
Yeah, because you're working from home now. I've done that too, and I know that you really need to not be disturbed. So if you can find some way, whether it's a neighborhood trade or neighborhood bartering or babysitting, like go to your local's Craigslist and say, I need someone to take care of this dog, and you can barter something that you can give somebody, whether it's a skill you have or whatever, that $400, oh, it's so much money. It's great. It would be great to save that. Now, listen, too, you guys are paying, I know you got a hungry teenager there, but you're paying about $1,000 a month on groceries. If you can cut that down by $200, we have our $1,500 and then some. We already do. We do. It's there. It's all in there. It does mean some life changes, you know, in what you're doing now and you're spending now. But I'm telling you, Holly, from going from 12 years of credit card until you get out of that credit card debt, and you can't save for another home or for your retirement as long as you have that debt right there. But 2 years, getting rid of that in 2 years, amazing.
That would be amazing.
Now imagine, 2 years from now, keep that in your head, when you're cutting around, cutting, you'll be done with that debt. Then it's time to tackle your savings. Okay? So you can take the $1,500 that you were putting every month to your credit card debt. It's actually going to be $3,000 a month, right? Funnel that into a high-interest savings account right away, the next month, the second that credit card debt is gone. Put it in a high-yield savings account to build yourself, first, an emergency nest egg, right? I want to have 6 months of living expenses in there, and a down payment for a home. In another 5 years from now, Holly, I'm going to call you. You're going to be out of debt. You're going to have emergency savings. You're going to be totally relaxed. You're going to have a down payment for a home.
And credit scores in the 800s.
Credit score in the 800s.
Well, that would be awesome. But what about Jason, who's going to be going to college next year?
I know. Yes, you did mention about Jason, and you mentioned about his college costs. Here's the thing. When it comes to your retirement, you and your husband's retirement, I want you and your husband to concentrate on saving for you. And I'll tell you why. Because your son can always borrow for school, and good public student loans is a good debt. Okay, Holly, it's a good debt to have, and it's an investment in him and his future. You and your husband take care of you first. Will
he qualify for student loans with our credit score being low? Don't we have to co-sign for him?
You might, but probably not. Go to finaid.org and search for scholarships and grants there. You'll be surprised at what you can get. All right, Holly, but take care of you and your husband. Keep contributing to that 401k, and you'll be right where you want to be. Much more right after this.